Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a video focusing on the top 5 merchandising responsibilities. This was requested from a user or a follower on Instagram. I thought this was actually kind of an interesting idea, so I'm very excited when you guys message me and ask for videos that you would like to see. So be sure to follow me on Instagram at clothes.call and feel free to follow me and message me if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that. I'd love to hear from you guys. Again, for today's video, we're gonna be focusing on responsibilities, and this is kind of a combination between my personal thoughts on what responsibilities are, as well as like what was actually on my job application for what was required of me for this position as a visual merchandiser. For these videos that I've been doing for merchandising, I'm glad that you guys love them all. I love doing them. I think it's really fun to talk about merchandising. I do want to say though that it is going to be a little bit different depending on like what company you work for, where you do merchandising at. You might be a merchandiser at a mom and pop shop, which is not, you know, any lesser of respect for being a merchandiser, but it is going to be different in terms of responsibility. Like for my job, I have to email a lot more people about upcoming product launches or promotions or things like that. So it is going to be a little different depending on like where you work, but ideally generalized, this is going to be kind of like, you know, responsibilities, as well as like other videos that I've done about merchandising. These are just kind of like general ideas of what to expect. It's not going to be exactly the same, but it's an overall general idea. So the first thing on my list, which I think would be a no-brainer, is to make sure displays are looking pristine. This I've reiterated so many times in my other videos, and it's always number one on my list because that is what you are being paid to do. That is why they are hiring you. That is what a merchandiser does. You need to make sure that all the displays are looking great. You need to make sure that it's pristine. And displays are different in every store, whether it be mannequins or like wall displays or plexis, or just there's so many different kinds of displays and so many different kinds of merchandising, but it is your job to make the store look great as far as displays go. It's just expected of you. So you need to be a very like a clean, organized person, but you also need to be creative. So the displays need to look like neat and orderly and pristine, but they also need to look kind of like what I've said in other videos. Like I always think it's important to try to create some kind of feeling in people. That's why I think it's always great to go above and beyond with displays and never be too scared, like the sky's the limit. And you know, you can make a display that's something that people might have not ever seen before, so it might catch their eye, be like, wow, this is really unique. Also, if you follow my blog, which I'll link down below, I've started doing a segment called Inspired by Display, and I've been taking photos of displays at malls in my area and beyond, of displays that I think are worth talking about, and I would love for that to be used as kind of a platform for merchandisers. If you guys are interested and you want to talk about it and kind of, you know, comment on like the stores that I find, or if you guys like or don't like or anything like that, I will link it down below so you guys can check it out. But there's this one store that I did recently on the blog called Altered State, and their spring display is just so animated, and it's really beautiful how they use like umbrellas as flowers, and I'll link it down below so you guys can see it. You need to check it out. But things like that, you know, going above and beyond, making sure it looks great, and just really it's like a show it's like a stop motion show, but there's no motion. It's like, it just has to look like a living painting. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I'm butchering this, but it's really cool when you see displays that make you stop in your tracks, because you don't want displays to look messy or shopped through, because that's going to turn a customer off, but you do also want them to look like out of this world in a way too. But it is your job to do these things, to make it clean, to make it look pristine, and to make it out of this world. The second thing on my list is to keep track of out of stock product and merchandise accordingly. If you are like a fantastic merchandiser and you are low on product, try not to display products that you're out of, which sounds like a no-brainer, but when you're low on product, it gets kind of hard on what exactly all you can merchandise. And if you create this really cool display out of product that is currently out of stock, that's gonna upset customers because you made it look so great and now they can't shop it. So that's kind of tricky too. So make sure, I mean, sometimes with certain stores, you might have a whole operations team that takes care of that. And other times, you know, you might be visual and ops or whatever it is. So I think it's really important though. As a merchandiser, I think it's still kind of your responsibility to be aware of things that are in stock and out of stock, because I mean, if you're putting this displays together and you're merchandising this product, you need to know if you have that product in store or not. So definitely keep track of that so that you can guarantee the utmost customer satisfaction, and again, like you're not merchandising products that you are out of. The next one on my list is to demonstrating leadership skills. So this one is also, I think, really key for merchandisers. I think this is a great responsibility. When you're a merchandiser, you're in charge of displays, you're in charge of, you know, how these products are moved around the store. And it takes a village. Like, you could be the one that comes up with these ideas, but you can't necessarily execute them all yourself. So you need to make sure that you are being, one, a great leader, and also that you are requesting help appropriately, and that you're like listening to the staff that's helping you and you're guiding them correctly. Because if it's like someone who's not really in your department, they might not know everything about merchandising, like the standards. You know, there might be little standards that you have to follow that other people in the store that you work at might not be aware of. So it's really important to be a really great leader when it comes to things like that, because product launches, depending on how big they are huge, and you need to make sure that you're, you know, easy to talk to if they have tons of questions, which they probably will. You just need to be a great leader all around. Merchandising or not, you should be a great leader. But I think that's also really important too, because sometimes, you know, it does take a village, and there's certain things that you don't want to be in over your head about, and it's really great to have that extra help. So yeah. Next on my list is to stay current on industry knowledge, design ideas, and creative concepts. So this kind of reiterating what I mentioned in another video about following trends, because when you follow trends, it's super easy, in my opinion. When you follow trends, it's super easy to merchandise, I think, because if there's certain things that are coming up, or if there's certain seasons coming up, it's super easy, I think, to create displays with that. With spring coming up, you can totally do flowers and florals, or St. Patrick's Day or Easter. It's really easy. Or like Easter, okay, springtime, there's grass, flowers, pastel colors, like you just can take off with that kind of thing. So I think that's really important. Design ideas and creative concepts, like I say, the sky is the limit. Always try to look for the next big step above and beyond, adding more props that you can, just making it really look lively, and just being a showstopper and really attracting customers. And sharing with other people in the company too, I think is great. If you work for a bigger company, to share displays that you've done to kind of pass around ideas, I think is great. But I always think this is such a big one, because being oblivious to trends is just, would be such a waste. You know, you get to take advantage of certain seasons and upcoming events, so why not utilize that? Like in Christmas, I feel like it's so big, and you know, if you watch like a Christmas Story or those old Christmas movies, like the big things are always like the big window displays they used to do in like the 40s and 50s, and I think that's awesome. Like if I could have been a merchandiser back then, that would have been so cool to like put those kind of things together. But you know, you think of Christmas, and that's like when everybody's going shopping, everybody's looking for presents for kids, for their wives, for sisters, for brothers, whoever. And you want to make that wow factor and get people excited about Christmas and excited about buying presents, but you want to try to instill that excitement all year, you know? So I think that's why it's important to stay up to date on trends, being creative on those trends, and paying attention accordingly. And also keeping in mind of what your target audience is. If you are a very specific store that attracts a certain type of customer, then you kind of know what they might like to see, or something that might kind of blow them away. Like merchandisers for like J. Crew are going to be different than merchandisers at like Hot Topic. Those are different brands, different customer groups, ideally. You just have to merchandise accordingly. But you have the help of the upcoming trends and the seasons to help guide you. But with what kind of product you sell, keeping that in mind, you know who you're trying to reach, and then you can merchandise accordingly to things that they would actually like to see that they would shop. If it's too strange for that customer base, they might just kind of like laugh it off. Kind of a long roundabout answer, but yeah, that's my answer for that. But the last one I have on here is to collaborate with retail to create floor plans or new product launch and other initiatives. And I think that's kind of coinciding with demonstrating great leadership for retail or what other departments you might have in your store. Because again, it does take a village. A lot of things you'll need help on. You can come up with these great ideas, but to execute them properly and wonderfully, you're gonna need help, because there could be really big product launches, or again, it's just, if you're only one person, you know, coming up with these ideas, or if you have a little team or whatever it is, it's okay to ask for help, and you need to be a great leader in doing so, and just kind of guiding them on like what the standards are, what you need help with, you know, and just being very specific. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Those top 5 responsibilities were my personal top 5 merchandising responsibilities. Again, it's kind of like a generalization, like a loose idea of, you know, what you are in charge of and what your duties and responsibilities are. I think these 5 are really, really important to me personally, so I wanted to share this with you. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more merchandising content as I post weekly. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, like I said, at clothes.call, and message me if you guys have ideas or if you liked this video or anything. I love hearing from you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.